Hey everybody, back again with the 1967 Beetle. I had a question about some of the one-year only parts, if you want to call it that, for the 1967 Beetle. Things that were specific to the 67 only. Things that I guess I have found out just by researching on, reading on the Samba and on the internet and watching YouTube. I am definitely not an expert. So hey, if I get something wrong, let me know in the comments so I can figure this stuff out. Because this is my first bug I've ever had, and I am definitely still learning whatever I can on it. But anyway, the main thing for me is there's a couple of really main things. The headlights. The headlights on the 67 are supposed to be the round, later model headlights. Now I know that the very early 67s, the very, very first production 67s, did have the oval headlights. But from what I understand, I think it's kind of rare to have a 67 that was original with the oval style headlights. I think for the most part, especially the ones that hit the United States, were all the round later model headlights, and they all had these original chrome bumpers. So that's what makes a 67 a 67, is normally you have the old style round headlights, but you have the old style bumper. Or wait, did I say that wrong? The new style round headlights with the older style bumper, and that's for me one of the dead giveaways to a 67. But this one you really can't tell, because as somebody, the previous owner, whoever had it before me, who knows who all's owned this car, but I think what they did on this car is they put the older style, like the 66 fenders on it with the oval headlights, because it definitely, the older headlights do look cooler. I mean, they really look cool with the old headlights. So anyway, on a 67 should have the newer round headlights, but with the old bumper. And then coming around to the back of the car, on the rear bumper, you'll notice the 67 has the reverse lights in the bumper. And then also with the bumper, this bar right here that's on the bumper is supposed to swoop down at an angle, and then not just be straight and then down. They did this on the 67, I think, to accommodate for opening the hood, because the hood on the 67 I think is a little bit bigger. It's more square, and I'm probably saying this wrong, but maybe not as pointy as the older ones. So in order to accommodate for that, I think they made these swoop down, give it a little more room. So that's definitely on the rear bumper, 67 only feature. The turn down bars on the bumper, and the reverse lights in the bumper. And then inside the car, now pay no attention to this door, because this door is actually off a 68. But you can tell the 67s had, I'll show you on the passenger side, because the passenger side door is a 67 door. The 67s had these buttons, and then the knobs on the wing windows were different also. But if you look inside, on a 67 you had this I don't know what you want to call it, a center mounting point for the seat belts. How it worked was, you got your seat belt here, and it folds up and it folds down, and you bring it across your lap, and then both the passenger and the driver, they both just click on this bar right here, and then that's your seat belt. And then in order to disengage, you just grab the outer shell here and you just pull, and it just opens up and it comes right out. And that's 67 only 67s had those. And also 67s had the metal dash, and I think I'm not 100% sure, you have to let me know on this, but I think the 67s were the last year of the metal dash. I think 68 or 69 they went with the black plastic dash, which to me, I much prefer the metal dash. I just think it's so much, I don't know, it's more classic. I like it so much better than the plastic one. And then one of the biggest things also is 67 was the very first year of the 12 volt electrical system. which I've never worked on a 6-volt system, but I would imagine the 12-volt system is just way better. I mean, I had no problems with the 12-volt system. And I think as far as 1-year only parts, that's all I know about. There's maybe more. So like I said, let me know. But as far as I know, the main things are the rear bumper. Tell by those bars that swoop down, the squareness of the hood, and then obviously the reverse lights that are in the bumper. And then normally a 67 is supposed to have the newer style round headlights, but with the old chrome bumper. And I think that's pretty much all the 1-year only 67 features. I highly recommend checking out Chris Vallone in his bug videos, the classicvw.com. Man, that guy is just an absolute expert on everything Beetle, and if you watch his videos, man, you can learn a lot about Beetles for sure. That's mostly, I watch a lot of his videos. But anyway, moving on from the Beetle, I figured I'd get the cars out of the garage today and kind of wipe them down, because these cars were sitting in my garage all winter long, and man, they had about 1/8 of an inch of dust on them. It was crazy, so I had to get them down, wipe them off, and to let them see the sunshine for a few minutes. They've been locked up all winter. But this is my 2005 LJ Rubicon. It's a Unlimited Rubicon, but it's, a lot of people call it the LJ because it's long Jeep. The LJ was the model designation, but it's the LJ Rubicon, and it's completely bone stock, even stock tires and everything. Well, stock size tires. But it's a 2005 Unlimited Rubicon. It's got the longer wheelbase, you could tell, and I still have the hard top off. I have this, the soft top is on, and this is a brand new soft top I got from the factory last year. Yeah, one of the last ones that were available, brand new from the factory though. And I put it on last summer, and I was going to put the hard top back on it because I do have the factory hard top for it, but I ended up just leaving it in the garage and not driving it. So I figured, well, I might as well just leave the top off because it's going to be summer again soon. And you just take it out and just enjoy it without having to mess with that hard top. But yeah, she's just completely bone stock. And she's clean. I mean, as clean as she could be. She's absolutely no rust. Whoever had this before me did not off-road it or abuse it. It was a garage queen her whole life. See, she's only got 48,500 miles on her. When I bought it, I've had it almost 2 years now, and it was 46,000 miles on it when I bought it. So, I mean, I definitely like to drive it around in the summertime for sure. It's got 48,000 miles on it, and it's got the automatic transmission and got the axle lockers because it's a Rubicon, and that's what makes a Rubicon is the ability to lock the front and rear axles. Which, I mean, I had to have, when I said I wanted a Jeep, like, I had to have a Rubicon because I want to have the options available, even though I'm not ever probably going to ever use it or be in a situation where I think I would need them. But I just wanted a Rubicon, and I wanted the axle lockers really bad. And automatic transmission, I kind of prefer the manual transmissions, especially in a Jeep, but I'm not gonna lie, once you get used to driving an automatic, man, you just get spoiled by it, I think. But yeah, this Jeep's super clean, super clean, and I like it a lot. The only thing that I had to do to it when I bought it, it kept throwing the idle air control code, and my check engine light was constantly on, and for the life of me I couldn't figure it out. And maybe if any of you guys watching this for some reason would have this problem, maybe this might help. Hold on, bear with me while I get this hood open. But the idle air control, that this little sucker right here, this idle air control valve, you know, my check engine light was coming on, and I was scanning it, and it said it was idle air control valve. I was like, okay, no problem. So I went down to the local auto parts store and bought a new one, and it drove so much worse with that new one. And like, it was just like, it stalled and everything. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I went to Dodge, and I bought a real original Mopar. What do you call it? Throttle position sensor. Yeah, that's what it is. Throttle position sensor. And so I bought a new one, and it didn't stall anymore. But what it was doing, like the idle was kind of, it wouldn't stay exactly at 1,000 RPMs. It would just idle up and down, just just a couple hundred RPM, just kind of surging, and like the check engine light would come on. It was really frustrating. I ended up changing the throttle position sensor, ended up changing the mass airflow sensor, ended up changing the whatever the sensor is over here, I can't remember, the map sensor, the mass airflow control sensor, the throttle position sensor, changed the crank position sensor and the camshaft position sensor, because I heard those could sometimes mess with the throttle position sensor, but that didn't do anything. I changed all those sensors and none of them worked. So I ended up getting a hold of a company called Wrangler Fix, and Wrangler Fix makes these PCMs. And what it was is my PCM was actually bad. The problem, what it was doing was the old PCM was not reading the throttle position sensor. No matter which throttle position sensor I put in, it just would not read it correctly, and that's why it was constantly throwing the codes. And with the 05s, the 05s and 06, but I think predominantly on the 05s, they had a lot of issues with the PCMs being faulty, and Jeep just really didn't, I don't really think they cared much about fixing them, because they knew that they were getting rid of the TJ model and they were, rolling out the JKs, and they just, I don't really think they cared about the old TJs anymore, and the old computers on them. But yeah, that ended up being the problem, was the old PCM was bad. And I got a hold of Wrangler Fix, and I talked to him on the phone, and he said, yeah, he said, it could very well be your PCM. He said, why don't you just throw a Wrangler Fix PCM on it, and he said if it doesn't fix the problem, just send it back for a refund. So I was like, well, okay, I'll try anything at this point. And yeah, I swapped it, and it was magic, like night and day difference. This thing drives like an absolute dream. Oh, and also, while I was messing with the throttle position sensor, I also changed the plugs and wires on it too, because the plugs on it were, man, I don't know if they were wore out or what, but I think that the plug gap was somewhere around 3/8 of an inch. Like, it was ridiculous. I think they were just wore out. So I put new plugs and wires on it, and new plugs and wires, all the new sensors, and the Wrangler Fix PCM. Man, this thing is just, it's golden. it drives like a dream. Like, I'm not even kidding. Now let's see. That's the LJ, and then my baby, my sweet baby. This is my my '99 Civic CX. Funny story about this one was, see, I was a Honda tech for, gosh, almost 20 years, like probably about 16 years. I was a Honda tech, and I just love these little cars. I really wanted a EF is my favorite. Like, I wanted a EF because I had a bunch of CRXs, the EF CRXs, and those are my favorite. But this one was really, really clean, had super low miles on it. And when I was working at the dealership, it came in, it was traded because the older customer was just tired of driving a stick. See, it's a manual transmission, and it's a CX. CX was a value package, so it came with the radio delete. And I am the second owner of this car. Let me take this key out, 'cause that's really annoying. But see, I am the second owner of this car, and I have the Carfax report and everything, and it's only got 77,000 original miles on it. This car is so clean, like, it's ridiculously clean. And it came in when I was working at the dealership, and it came in on trade. It was the lady who owned it. She was an older lady, and she was just, I can't blame her. She was tired of driving stick shift. So she traded this car in and got a new one. and I wanted it so bad, but the wholesaler had bought this car, and it was, you know, he was like, I called him up in the next morning, and I'm just like, please, please, please sell me this car. And he's like, no way. He said, this is my car. He said, this is going to be my show car. He's like, you know, because he loves Hondas too. And he's like, no, he's like, it's not for sale. So I gave up hope, and I was like really upset because I really wanted a clean EK hatch. And fast forward 3 or 4 years later, I was just messing around on the Craigslist, and I was for some reason looking at Hondas, and I seen this Honda pop up, and I saw who was selling it, and he was the same wholesaler that had bought it originally when it came up for trade. And he had put this fancy paint job on it, like the half blue, half silver, and he put these buddy clubs on it, which to me, I'd much rather have stock Honda wheels and stock silver, because I don't know if you can't tell by looking at my vehicles, but for me, stock everything, like stock rocks for me. Like I am a crazy stock junkie guy. But anyway, when I saw it come up for sale, I knew exactly what car it was, and I knew how clean it was, because the previous owner was one of those people that did every single service, like no matter what. The 30,000 mile service had been done, the 60,000 mile service had been done, even the 90,000 mile service had been done, which included the timing belt and everything. And the car only has 77,000 original miles on it. So I mean, it's super clean, super well maintained. And I remember when she used to come in, you know, she would have the oil changed every year, even if it only had, you know, 300 or 400 miles on it. You know, she would still have the oil changed regularly, and just really took care of this car. And I don't know, the forces of nature just, I don't know, I ended up with it, and I was really happy. I changed, I put a new grill on it, because this car, it did have like some sun damage. I think that's why the top was painted blue, but I ended up putting I have a bra for it, but I put just the hood part on it, because I just think the hood part looks so much better. And I changed this little grill, and I changed the emblem, and I changed this bottom grill, and I put the S2000 license plate deletes in it. It just looks so much cleaner. I mean, it just, she's so pretty. And then what else did I change on it? I bought brand new door handles. These door handles getting a little bit of faded action on them, so I bought brand new door handles. I have not put them on yet, but I will. And I changed these channels here, the weather stripping, I guess you want to call it. And I also changed these here, because these were, you could tell on a Honda, these get rotted out pretty quick, so I changed these. And the interior, I mean, it's clean, man. It's like showroom in here. It's like stepping into a 1999 time capsule. It's so crazy. That's the car bra. That's the bottom half of it. It's got a little bag, and I put it in the back seat so I wouldn't lose it. But yeah, man, this thing is like mint condition. Oh, and I bought, I'll show you guys. Oh, apparently I locked the hatch for some reason. What did I do with the key? But I changed the rear struts, because the rear struts were not functioning when I had bought the car. Well, I did have keys for it. I swear I did. There they are. There we go. And I put those new hatches, or the new struts or shocks, whatever you want to call it, on there. And since this is the CX and there's a radio delete, there's no speakers, but it has the speaker grills. And also the CX did not come with the rear, how would you want to call it, the luggage hider, that little part that pulls up and closes back here. And I had really thought about, I wanted one, because those things are like super nice, especially if you have stuff in your trunk and you want to hide them. But I'm such a stickler about keeping things original that I didn't put it on there. And I'm like, oh, if it didn't come with it from the factory, I'm not going to put them on there. But I don't know, I might end up getting one off eBay if I could find a new one, like new old stock somewhere, or if I could find a really nice one. I'll probably put it back here, and then you can cover that up back there, and that'll be super nice. But I mean, she's clean, super clean. And then 2007 Toyota Sienna. And I actually should have done a video on the spark plugs. I changed the spark plugs on that, and that was an adventure. If you do some internet searching or look on the YouTube, you can see you kind of have to take the engine bay like completely apart because it's a V6, so the front 3 cylinders are facing the front of the car, and the rear cylinders are pretty much like against the firewall underneath the all the windshield washer controls and everything. So it's ridiculous. It's a job and a half, but it's not. I guess once you do it the first time, it's kind of intimidating, but after you do it, it ends up not being bad. But yeah, that's the 07 Sienna and 2013 Prius, which I took the hubcaps off and put the center caps in. It just looks a million times better. Like, I don't know why Toyota puts hubcaps on top of actual alloy rims. Like, it just makes no sense to me. But it's the Prius V. It's the hatchback. If you want me to make videos on the Prius and the Sienna, I can, but I don't think they're nearly as cool as the as the 05 LJR or the 99 Civic. But anyway, I just figured I'd make this video and ramble on and waste some time, and hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know, and yeah, if you need me to do any more explaining on these cars or you want to see them again, just let me know. Alright, thanks guys, bye.